Hello, YouTube. Happy 4th. Oh my god. Oh my god. This just keeps getting worse. I mean, everything about it. If you if you see if you're seeing, the picture that the profile picture of the video that I posted, you obviously know what I'm going to be talking about. It is the set photos for Green Lantern and Hawkgirl for Gunn's Superman movie. Now I know I already did a video on this movie talking about, like the suit and stuff like that, but it's like everything about this movie, everything I keep hearing and seeing, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And and James Gunn, he just keeps proving to me that he absolutely has no fucking clue what he's doing. He really doesn't. I mean, honestly, I've never seen a Superman movie. I haven't seen a Superman movie look this bad in a long time. I mean, this is like next level bad. You know what I mean? Like, this is, oh my god. I seriously, like, I cannot get over how bad this movie looks. Like, literally like nothing, um like everything that they've been showing off, for this movie, everything that keeps everything that they keep posting about it, um and showing off, it's like just when you think it can't get any worse, guess what, it gets worse. Oh my god. Another thing I want to bring up, um is, um I've obviously already talked about, um 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 I know I already talked about, like the costume and stuff like that, but one thing that I actually completely forgot about um there were pictures dropped for how Clark Kent was going to look in the movie. Now, I want you guys to look at this. I I want you guys to look at this and tell me, honestly, tell me with a straight face, tell me that, tell me, honestly, seriously, tell me with a straight face that that this screams that James Gunn knows what he's doing. Look at this. This is an actual set photo of how Clark Kent is going to look in this movie. Look at that hair. It it looks like a head of broccoli. It really does. It looks like a head of broccoli. Now, now look at now look at how Clark Kent has looked over the years. Look at how Clark Kent has looked over the years. So, like, I'm gonna bring up Christopher Reeve for a minute and show you, just, and like compare, um like how he looked in the movies. See, now look at that. Now, to me, I think I said this in my Superman, discussion of the movie, but I'm pretty sure I said this in my last Superman video, that in my first video that I did on Gun Superman, to me, Christopher Reeve will always be Superman. Like nobody will ever be able to top him. Um, Cavill, yes, does come pretty close, but Christopher Reeve, I just perfectly embodies. Um, Christopher Reeve just perfectly embodied Superman in literally every way, shape, and form. But yeah, but this is this is how Christopher Reeve looked, and he looks like a geek, right? He looks, which was obviously the point. But but yeah, he looks like a geek. Um he looks and then if you look at um and then if you look at and then if you look at Brandon Routh's Clark Kent, um they do look pretty similar. um Excuse me, which is obviously what they were going for. So that is this is Brandon Routh's Clark Kent. Um and then obviously Henry Cavill's Clark Kent. Henry Cavill's Clark Kent pretty much looks, like a regular guy. He doesn't he doesn't look, geeky. But um so if so I hope you see what I'm getting at. Like this is not, this has, this has, I have no clue what I'm doing written all over it. And I'm just pulling, I'm just basically pulling stuff out of my ass and just, hoping it sticks. That's what literally everything about this movie is saying to me. Literally everything. Like there's not a single thing about this movie that I like so far. Um, but yeah, the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl test photos, or set photos. I'm sorry, not test photos. Set photos. These costumes look so bad. I'm serious. Like, they look like something out of the early 90s. They really do. They look like 90s. um they look like a mix between like really 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 bad cosplay to like 90s era costumes. And that's what this says to me. And it's like I said before in my first video of talking about Gunn's Superman. Nothing in Gunn's previous um nothing in Gunn's previous filmography, or whatever you want to call it, shows that he is capable of helming a Superman movie. And the fact that we keep getting stuff like this, the fact that it keeps getting worse every time something, every time something's from something from this movie is shown off, he just continues to prove my point. Like like, I'm not shitting you guys. Like, literally, like, I've literally heard some people say, um, I've literally heard some people say, you know what? Man of Steel actually wasn't that bad. I, 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 I'm like, I'm not shitting you guys. Like, some people have literally, have literally come around to Zack Snyder, uh, to Zack Snyder's, Man of Steel because of how bad this movie looks. In fact, you know what? Even, like even toxic Snyder haters are saying that this looks like shit. I'm not even joking. Literally, like I'm not shitting you guys. Like literally. And like everybody, um, like all the major, like all the major, like comic book, like all the major, like comic book people, um, to all the major, like comic book YouTubers, to like Thinking Critical, to Aaron Fisher, um, who usually covers a lot of things DC, um, who usually, who usually covers a lot of things DC, um, 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 uh, Mid, Mr. H Reviews, who covers a lot of, um, who covers a lot of, like official news sources. And um, these are all guys that usually do like a fair amount of research before they do videos. So they are legit, like sources. And, um, but yeah, no, like literally, like all of them are saying that this movie looks like trash, and it really does. It just, I mean, like, like, like I said before, like I can't get over how bad this movie looks. I seriously don't remember a time where I seriously don't remember a time where I was less excited for a Superman movie. And and don't get me wrong, and I think I said this in my I think I also said this in my, in my first talk of Gunn Superman. I'm a huge Superman fan. Like I love Superman. I mean, um, but yeah, no, but this is, I mean, this is, another thing I want to bring up. I'm going to show you guys. I don't remember if I did this in my last video or not. If I did, and if I'm doing it again, I apologize. Um, but I want to show you guys, um, I want to show you guys, the different, I want to show you guys the different, Superman suits over the years. Um, I want to show you guys the different Superman suits over the years. Um, okay, yeah. So we obviously have, the Christopher Reeve Superman, which is honestly, the truest, suit to the, you know, to the source material, right? Like it's classic. Um, like it's classic, right out of the books, Superman. And then, and then, excuse me, sorry. Um, and then, and then you have the Brandon Routh costume, which I will say is very, very, very similar to um, the Christopher Reeve costume. It's not quite the same. As you can see, like the colors aren't as bright. The cover, the colors are, a little darker. There's an S on the belt. Um, however, I could get behind it. Um, I could get behind it because of just I can get behind it just because of like how well I think it classes overall with the suit. Um, and th- and then lastly, you obviously have the Henry Cavill Superman. Um, you obviously have the Henry Cavill Superman suit, which I will admit when I first saw it, like this was the first set photo that dropped for Man of Steel back in 2013, around the time the movie was coming out. When it dropped, I was like, okay, it's gonna, it's different from, from the from the classic, Superman suit. So um I was like, okay, it's different, but I can probably, um, but I can see myself, getting behind it. I can see myself, eventually, like getting used to it, and I did. And I did because I absolutely loved Man of Steel. Um, this this though, Gunn's, Superman suit, it's like I said before in my first in my first video, talking about the movie and the suit. It looks baggy. It looks it looks way too baggy. It looks like it was made out of rubber. It it looks absolutely atrocious, and it's not. And like everybody is hating on this, on this new suit. I mean, literally, like nobody, um like nobody is saying, there aren't too many people out there saying, that this looks good. And this I and what really bothers me about this Superman suit? It looks like a combination of too many Superman suits. Like you have, here, like let me show you guys a picture of Superman's New 52 costume, which was, excuse me, sorry, um which um which was a costume that, um the New 52 was like it's something that happened, um a few years ago. Well, not actually, no, it wasn't a few years ago. I think it was like 2012 when this happened. Um but it is a it was basically, it was a reboot for DC. Took so like so like in 2012, DC took, like Batman, Superman, they took all these characters and rebooted them. Um and then so this is the New 52 Superman costume. And if you look really, really closely, here, you can see the lining around the suit. You know, you can see the lining around the suit. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about the muscles. Like if you look real closely here, you can see the lining you can see like outlining around the suit. And that's something that Gunn's Superman suit has. So it looks like a combination between that and Kingdom Come Superman, because obviously, um, I don't remember if I mentioned this in my first, in my first video. So I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up now, just in case I didn't. Um, Kingdom Come Superman is basically is future Superman. He is um Kingdom Come is an Elseworld story. It's a Elseworld stories or what ifs. So Kingdom Come Superman is Superman years and years into the future, so much so that his hair is starting to gray in places, and he has a much different um Superman symbol. He doesn't have, he doesn't have the traditional S, that you're used to seeing. He almost has, like a line going. Um, he almost has, like a line like diagonally going across, the traditional, you know, the traditional Superman, like outer, like symbol shape that you're used to seeing. And but yeah, no, this is, like, I can't get over how bad this looks. This this looks absolutely atrocious, and it couldn't, and like, it couldn't be any more obvious that Gunn has no clue what he's doing. And I mean, I've seen some pretty bad um superhero costumes in my time, but this is this is just, I mean, this is like a whole new level of bad. As I said before, and the fact that we're getting something like this in 2024 is, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, it's lazy. I mean, it's not, and it should prove to you that Gunn is not the right guy for the job. He's not. And as I don't remember if I said this in my last video or not, but Zack Snyder's Man of Steel collaborators, the people that he worked with, like the costume designers and the set people that he worked with, during his time on Man of Steel, they're completely slamming this whole they completely slammed the costume, the new Superman costume. And and the and another thing I want to bring up, going back to the Superman and Hawkgirl, I mean the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl suits. I'm gonna bring this up again just so I can show you guys. Excuse me, sorry. And and it's not just me. Like, a lot of people are saying this. It's not just me. Like, a lot of people are saying this. Hang on, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good picture. Okay, yeah. So this was our first. This photo dropped, I think yesterday, and it's our first official look at Hawkgirl and Green Lantern. let me ask you guys a question. Where's the green in this suit? I mean, look at this. I mean, you basically have a white costume. You have a Green Lantern symbol, like on the, like on the arm sleeve. I mean, and not to mention, I don't want to get, political on you guys, but seriously, why the fuck does Nathan Fillion look like Donald Trump? I mean, look at this. I mean, and you know, and you know, and look at Hawkgirl. Like, where's her wings? You know, it really wouldn't surprise me at all if it was. Oh, here's a better picture. Here's a better picture of how they look. But yeah, no, I mean, you have like a Green Lantern symbol on the arm sleeve. You have you have Nathan Fillion with Donald Trump hair. I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me if that was Gunn's idea. I mean, look at, like look at all the other crap he's pulling for this movie. But yeah, no, this is like I know I keep saying this and I apologize, but literally, like, I can't get over how bad this movie looks. I'm just seriously, like, I'm stunned that that the movie looks this bad. I mean, like, I didn't have any confidence, in this movie before. Like when it was announced, like when I heard that James Gunn was doing a Superman movie, I was like, oh yeah, yeah. And I and I know I said this in my previous first video, um talking about the movie, but it's like everybody in America, knows who Superman is. He's been around, he's been around since 38. He's he's an American icon. Um like like anybody, anybody from any language is, is going to look at him and not, is going to be able to look at him and, and know, that it's Superman. And um and with, but the character, so instantly recognizable, it's yeah, and not to mention, with such a massive fan base. I mean, everybody, I think everybody, I think it's pretty safe to I think it's pretty safe to say that actually no, it is pretty safe to say that, DC's two biggest characters really are Batman and Superman. I mean, well, I mean, I guess, you could throw Wonder Woman in there because obviously, the DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but but if it came down to it, really, the big two really are obviously Batman and Superman. Um and yeah, I mean, the fact that that we're getting, a Superman. And what really pisses me off about this. Oh, hang on. Sorry, yo, my computer's running low. Let me plug it in. Um the thing that really pisses me off about this um is the fact that um is the fact that by the time this movie comes out, it'll have been the first, Superman movie in 13 years. And excuse me, sorry. And um it'll have been the first, Superman movie in 13 years. And, this should obviously be a movie, that this should obviously, be a movie, to get excited about. It should be like, oh my God, like the first Superman movie in 13 years. Like, you know, uh, like we gotta go see this, and and like Superman fans, especially like myself, um, I like I grew up, like I said before, I grew up watching, the Christopher Reeve Superman, movies on VHS. I grew up with Smallville. Um, I remember when I remember when I remember when um I remember when Man of Steel came out. I remember all the way back to 2006, around the time that Superman Returns was coming out. I remember um I remember, I remember seeing the set photos for Brandon Routh in the suit in Wizard magazine back when that magazine was still a thing. Um, and I remember seeing it for the first time, and I remember going, yeah, this looks this I remember seeing, Brandon Routh in the suit for the first time in the magazine, and going, yeah, he looks really, really good. And he looked exactly like Christopher Reeve at the time, which was obviously the point, because Superman Returns was a sequel to Superman 2. Um, it ignored sequels 3 and 4. So it was a direct sequel to Superman 2. Um, but but yeah, no, this movie, I, I, this movie, this movie, I can't get over how bad this looks. And and like I said before, James Gunn has no idea what he's doing. He's, he's just, he's creating such a mess. And just, and really shitting just all over, the character of Superman. I mean, just, he's not even, um, he's not even trying to, um, he's not even trying to create something, um, that the diehard fans like myself are going to enjoy. It's just, it's, and I know some of you, I know some of you were probably thinking, oh, like, wait till the movie comes out. It'll probably look different in the movie. It won't, because it won't, because, actually, no, I'll give you two reasons. Because, because the first photo that they showed, excuse me, the first photo that they showed, it was baggy. It was very, very baggy. And that was like, I don't remember. I want to say maybe it was, I want to say it was at least maybe like a month ago when they showed off that first photo. Um, again, don't quote me on that because I'm not positive, but one thing's for sure, they definitely had more than enough time between then and now to fix it. And the fact that they didn't, the the fact that they didn't fix it, and that they dropped another photo and it still looked baggy, that should tell you something right there. That should tell you something. And then obviously, and then the second reason being, um, and then the second reason, they showed off a poster for the movie. IGN actually dropped an article saying, oh, you shouldn't worry about, how the Superman suit looks. It probably won't be, it probably won't be, it'll probably look different on screen. However, they completely neglected on purpose. They completely neglected to mention the poster that, the Superman poster that dropped, and it looks baggy there too. So, those I think are two pretty good reasons right there why, um, why you shouldn't expect, why you shouldn't expect it to look any different than it does now. Um, yeah, I just, I haven't been, and like I said before, I love Superman. He's one of my favorites. He's been one of my favorites since I was a kid. Um, and, and yeah, I mean, this is, really my, really my hope now is that this movie gets written off. Really, I'm just hoping now for this movie to get written off as a tax write-off, like the canceled Batgirl movie that was supposed to happen, but that got written off as a tax write-off. So, I hope to God and hope and pray that this movie ends up being the same thing, because Gunn has, again, he has no clue what he's doing. And another thing, one more thing I want to bring up before I end this stream. Actually, two more things. One is Gunn has an animated series coming out. Has an animated series coming out on Max called Creature Commando. Creature Commandos. It is DC related. Um, and I'm not shitting you guys. That's going to be X rated. I'm not shitting you. Like, literally, like, go look it up. Like, I'm not shitting you. Now, I don't know if that means I don't know if that means that we're getting, the porn version of these characters, or 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 that just means, that it's going to be so violent that that it needs to be, that it needs to have an X rating. Um but but that alone, doing that, you're already limiting your audience. You know what I mean? Like, and Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers Discovery is obviously going to be keeping an eye on how, that series does, because that's going to be as far as I know, that's going to be the first official, DC property from James Gunn, since he took over DC. So there's no doubt at all that they're going to be keeping a close eye on that and seeing, like, how that does. And if that, and if that ends up failing, in which, there's no doubt in my mind that it won't. But when that fails, I my hope is that they will write Superman off as a tax write-off. So that is my hope, because this Superman movie, because this is a DC property that just, it does not deserve to see the light of day, because it looks so bad, and it looks, what it actually reminds me of? You know what all the costumes in the movie actually remind me of? I want you guys to take a look at this. This is a picture of a canceled Justice League pilot episode for a TV show that never came out back in '97. And this is what Gunn's Superman movie reminds me of. This is what his Superman movie looks like to me. That's pretty sad. I mean, and seriously, like, I've legit seen other people in other YouTube, in other YouTubers, make that comparison. I'm not the only one making that comparison. But anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna end it here. One more thing on a personal note. I will be leaving on a short vacation. I will be back sometime on Monday. So this is my last video for now. I will try at some point tonight to do my next Avengers review, because I know I've been saying that I was going to do that. That I was going to do that, and I keep pushing it back. I apologize. So I'm going to do my absolute best to try to do it tonight. If I don't, then it's going to have to wait until I get back on Monday. But I will try my absolute best to do at least one more video before I leave tomorrow. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.